Payback is this Sunday, and it's very interesting because, excuse me, it's very interesting because a lot of these matches just came up yesterday, including one that was going to happen, but actually, I don't even know if Bryan was supposed to be booked. But we'll just say, let's go to that right quick because I do not know if Daniel Bryan was supposed to be booked for Payback. If anything, probably it was going to be the Barrett Bryan match that didn't happen. I don't really know. I didn't see it, so I don't know. But on Raw last night, we did see that Daniel Bryan, unfortunately, must put his title in abeyance, meaning the man, myth, and legend known as Vacant is the only man to hold the WWE Intercontinental Championship, the TNA World Tag Team titles by himself, I might add, and the UFC Bantamweight title that was taken away from John Bones Jones, which is quite an accomplishment. Three different companies, 3 different belts. I mean, that's a hell of a run, kid. But what this means is Daniel Bryan, from what we know, Daniel Bryan might be out for months, for weeks. He may never wrestle again. So it was the right thing to do, and even though in my voice I am disappointed about it, it had to be done, just like last year. And to think about it, Bryan almost held the belt all the way to Money in the Bank, like he did last year. If that's, yeah, he did it all the way to Money in the Bank last year, and he was close to that again. So it's history repeating itself, but it's ironic in a way, because he held it at WrestleMania, won it at WrestleMania, and held it all the way to Payback, actually, which is shorter than his last run, unless Money in the Bank was earlier last year, and I don't remember. But let's go into the matches that do happen, and hopefully one of these could be for the Intercontinental Championship. It does not say yet. Actually, I know it's not because of a thing we'll get to later in a different video. But first off, we have the rematch. Not for the crown, but it's a rematch nonetheless of King Barrett, Bad News Barrett, the King of the Ring, versus Neville. And Neville has been a hell of a talent ever since coming from NXT. I think Neville had his his pay-per-view debut. This will technically be his pay-per-view debut. I want to say he had his pay-per-view last month at Extreme Rules, but that was on the kickoff, so that doesn't really count as a pay-per-view debut because it's on the pre-show. That's like if you went to fucking WrestleMania and you were in the Battle Royal Dark match or something, from WrestleMania 22 or whatever. It doesn't count. It's on the DVD, but it doesn't count for pay-per-view wise. You get paid, but not pay-per-view money. But this is Neville's official pay-per-view debut, and I cannot wait for it. The crown, once again, is not on the line, but you would assume that if Neville won, you would put the kingship, the royalty of Bad News Barrett into question. But with that being said, I honestly see this match as the #1 contenders match for the Intercontinental title. And even though there's no champion, you would think that especially after Neville's performance on Raw against John Cena for the US title, even though Rusev fucked that up, we'll get to that a little later. But Neville having a great match, you need to keep him strong, so he'll beat the King, no problem. And we have this match. Swear to God, why? I'll screw up thinking about it. Dolph Ziggler versus Sheamus. Again. I shouldn't be as critical about this match, but you had the Kiss Me Arts match, you had the payoff. Why are they still feuding? Why the fuck? I understand it's because Ziggler hadn't gotten his ass kissed, which ironically doesn't happen often at all. I mean, he's blowing the totem pole for politics in WWE as that's concerned, but I mean, what the fuck? Why is this a feud? Why is this a thing? Why is this a feud? Why is this even here? This is your piss break of the night. I don't care who wins this match personally. And then we go to, this is not the kickoff, it's the next match after that, but it's the rematch for the WWE Tag Team Championships. Cesaro and Kid against the New Day. And I don't know if this is 2-on-3 like last time, but I do know the New Day have been using the Freebird rule ever since they won the title, so it's awesome. So we do not know who will, out of the New Day, who will defend the belts. I can assume it would be Big E and somebody, because they need a power speed team to counteract the power speed of Cesaro and Kid. But this is a 2 out of 3 falls match, which takes this really different in my eyes, because this is pretty much the end of the feud at this point. For WWE at this point, because, I mean, they just won the belts, so they're not going to lose them. So New Day will win the match, but don't be surprised if Cesaro and Kid win the match, or at least get a pinfall out of it, because you have to keep the feud going. And then we have the match everyone wanted to see back in the day. Hulk Hogan and Macho Man Randy Savage against the Legion of Doom. That's right, we dug up Hawk from the dead, and Savage from the dead as well. It's fucking great, and I honestly believe the Mega Powers versus the Legion of Doom will be the feud of the year for this year. And for those who are not understanding sarcasm, it's Axel Mania, Curtis Axel, and Macho Man now. I just want to say something about this real quickly. At first, when I first heard about this, I was like, why are you doing this? Why didn't you not bring Jay Lethal in for this shit? I mean, he's the Ring of Honor television champion, but still. At least for a one-night-only thing. I mean, hell, you have them for Rosebuds, for fuck's sake. But what you have here is Damien Sandow, after losing the Miz, he's no longer Mizdow, by the way, for those who have not known that. He's no longer Mizdow, and he was actually had his own theme. I mean, he was himself. We had the match with Sandow versus Hogan, or Hogan Dow versus Hogan, or Axel, whatever the fuck. I don't fucking care about this match, personally. I just like the fact that I can just shit on people by not calling out their real names. I mean, at this point, it is the Mega Powers versus the Legion of Doom, but, and then you had Damien Sandow become Macho Man Dow, and, I loved the thing on Main Event. It was great, because not a lot of people don't give a fuck about Main Event anyway, so just put on that show and then forget about it, and just have Sandow have his Hallelujah theme, which is great, by the way, and just have him imitate people. He is basically the Charlie Haas of this generation, and I hate saying that, but goddamn, Charlie Haas was awesome back then. I mean, Sandow does a good job of it. I would just rather have Lethal doing it, because it's just fucking great when he does it. He does a great Flair, does a great Savage, and I think that's all he does, basically. If I wanted to say Warrior, but that was Delirious who did that. Delirious did a great job of that as well. But I like it. I mean, I love it, but it's just, I don't know about this match. Thank God it's a kickoff, because if this is on a pay-per-view, I would lose my shit over this if this is on pay-per-view. The Mega Powers will beat the Legion of Doom. It's that simple. Fatal 4-Way, nothing out of the ordinary here, except for the fact that if Seth Rollins does not retain his title, Kane will be fired as the Director of Operations, the DOO, or DO, as people have been saying. And the DO will don't at that point. It's very weird talking, weird English at this point, but with Rollins, it's weird, because as much as I would love to have Ambrose win the title, you would assume that Ambrose and Reigns will cancel each other out, and possibly Orton and Reigns will cancel each other out, so there's not any choice. And plus, Kane will screw someone to get his job. Will he screw Rollins? I don't know, but only time will tell. And then this fucking match, I swear to God, I do not care at all about Rusev now. I mean, the star is obviously Lana, because she's been on the interrogation. For those who don't know, she's on the new Pitch Perfect movie. She was on the first Pitch Perfect. She's on the first Pitch Perfect movie. She's in the sequel, and now she's in the interrogation. Which, ironically, a commercial for that movie, Pitch Perfect 2, was on before they came back for the Neville Cena match. So you obviously thought Rusev was going to interfere, and I fucking called it, and I fucking hated it. I wouldn't have had any problem if fucking Cena beat Rusev, Neville clean, because that's what he's been doing all these weeks, so that's what you expect to happen. And it was just a great fucking match, and Cena, that match basically elevated the U.S. title. I am shocked that we don't have Neville and Rusev at this point. It's not that I'm shocked that I didn't think Cena would do this to have the title, or Rusev would do this to have the title the way he wanted it. But by doing so, Rusev has fucked himself over. Rusev could have had an I Quit match with Neville and could have won easily. And I'm not saying Neville's a jobber. I'm just saying that compare John Cena, a man who has never quit, who has never... Well, actually, he did technically quit at Fastlane because he passed out, but that doesn't really count. I just want to hear the satisfaction of hearing him say, I quit. But Cena has never quit, has never lost an I Quit match. It is contract. It is guaranteed at that point. He will never lose an I Quit match. But the fact of this is, Rusev could have had an easier night. Because if you remember earlier, Neville was supposed to take on King Barrett. Who says that would have been for the U.S. title? And if it was for the U.S. title, hypothetically, the winner would have faced Rusev for the U.S. title in an I Quit match. The men were already beaten down. The men would be beaten down, and it would have been easy for Rusev to pick up the win and become the new U.S. champion. Now, what Rusev actually did was attack John Cena, causing disqualification for our weekly DQs on Raw and SmackDown. And by the way, watch Raw and SmackDown, and there will always be a disqualification at least once on one of their shows. It's just a no-brainer. You have to put the DQ in, or the count-out, or whatever. It's mostly DQ, but, count-outs do happen. But, yeah, there's a weekly DQ every week on every show. I've noticed that over the past few months, and it's there, and I bitch about it every week. But, especially on here, but Rusev, in theory, could have had a great match with Neville, could have easily won the U.S. title, or Barrett, depending if the belt would have been on the line against Neville and Barrett, excuse me. But the fact is, you attacked Cena, causing the disqualification, plus the title cannot change hands on a disqualification count-out, it can only be pinfall or submission. The fact that you beat the shit out of Cena, so give them something to do, give them motivation. And the fact that Cena has never lost an I Quit match. How fucking stupid do you have to be to ruin a great match against Neville and to basically fuck yourself out of the title as well as your job? Because as far as we know, and as far as I know, the second Lana misses and leaves Rusev, it's over for Rusev. Rusev is gone. He will be Kozlov status. And Kozlov was great. Rusev now is shit. I do not give a fuck what anybody thinks. The fact that Rusev was a great character. The Rocky IV storyline will finally end, and Cena Balboa will destroy Rusev Drago in front of Baltimore. And by the way, why the fuck is this pay-per-view still in Baltimore? The fact that Baltimore... I mean, it's been riots every day. It's been police getting arrested every day. Legal counsel is being arrested and persecuted for lies. And we all know lawyers lie, but lies making the cops go to have this case. This case is so lopsided. This case has so many holes in it, you could stick several vaginas in it, and you wouldn't figure out which dick to put your hole in. I mean, which hole would you put it in? It's either these holes in this case, and you'll luckily find a vagina, or you'll just find a butthole. And Lord knows, no one knows what butt that will be. But the fact is, Baltimore, if you do not riot, if Rusev or Cena, regardless who wins the I Quit match, if you do not riot, I will have lost faith in all niggers. And that's really the end of that.